Now, what are your thoughts on the current competition that you are facing in the races?
Mm, the competition is pretty good. I feel like the Indian motorsport training is really improving, and the competition is also really nice.
Mm,
We've had a lot of wheel to wheel battles among my teammates, among my colleagues, or my colleagues. I would say my racing partners.
mm,
So I've had a lot of nice races. There's a lot of good talent coming up. So I'm 22. Like I said, Amir, he's
mm,
16 years old,
mm,
and he clean swept all the races. So
mm,
yeah, it's nice to race with them, and I feel like he has the chance to reach Formula 3 at least and do well there.
mm,
So yeah, it's gonna be pretty intense, pretty amazing to. And I'm racing with a lot of people who have the chance to go to Formula 1.
mm,
So I'm learning a lot from them. So it's
mm,
very nice, and so there are a lot of different categories of people who I race with. So there are people who are 16-year-olds, then there are people like me who are 20, 21, 22, and then
mm,
there are also people who are 28, 30-year-olds who come and they just come for the thrill of being a part of racing, and they would just want to give it a shot at racing, and then they they just want to experience the feel of it.
mm,
So there are a lot of different categories of people who come. So it's a lot of fun. The competition is really nice. The competition is generally the 20-year-olds, the people who just came from go-karting. So
mm,
the competition is there, but it's fun. And there are a lot of teams. M Sport is the biggest Indian racing team, M
mm,
Sport. And then there's Momentum, there's Avalanche, there's Prudent. So yeah, if anyone actually wants to like get into racing, and whoever's listening to this podcast can actually hit me up on Instagram as well, and I can actually uh, help them build their career in racing. I can suggest a few academies to them, and maybe they can
mm,
get into it like that. Even parents, if they want to contact me and want to
mm.
get their kids into it, I can help them.
Yeah. So everyone, you can just hit him up on his Instagram. I
Yeah,
will link it down in the
yeah,
description. No worries.
yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. And like what to like what extent does age play a role in like while
A
you're racing?
big a big role. Anything in life,
Mm,
I think age plays a big role. So when you start early, like Neymar, if you heard this thing about Neymar, where you put in 10,000 hours, if you put in 10,000 hours into something, then you can be a professional in that, and you can be one of the best in that particular thing, whatever it is. Maybe cooking, or maybe racing, maybe for sports, maybe stock market. If you put in 10,000 hours,
mm,
then you become an expert in that field.
mm,
So when you start early, it's easier to put in those 10,000 hours.
mm,
So I feel like age is a very, and especially in racing, age plays a very big role and
mm,
criteria. You
mm,
start karting early, and then you move up the ranks. It's easier that way. And nowadays, even the teams like Mercedes junior drivers, Red Bull junior drivers, they all pick their drivers when they're 12, 13-year-olds itself.
mm,
So that's, and then they develop those drivers because they see potential in them. So it's
yeah.
very important. Age is very big factor when it comes to racing.
Yeah. Like here I am, like podcasting, and here and there we have a 20-year-old Yuki racing in F1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, yeah, it's pretty insane like that. He's the youngest. He's the first driver to come after the 1990s barrier. So
Mm.
yeah.
So like how significant is a team, like when the cars are regulated?
Uh, It's pretty significant, I would say. So even in Formula 4, it's very significant because sometimes your car, sometimes the engine, the way you tune it, it may be different, and every team has their own way of building a car. So
Mm,
those small things can affect the car. I've only driven the Momentum Motorsports car. So, but then I've driven the different Momentum Motorsports cars. So in one car itself, there's a difference between the performance of the car. So, and you notice that. So it's the cars are very important, especially in Formula, not in go-karting, but in Formula, it's very important that your engine, the way the car is built. And I would say that if you're very if you want to like build your career around it, you start building your car. Like, so if you are getting into Formula 4, then you tell the team that build the car around me. That way you get your preferences right, where you
Mm.
want, where. So every person's driving style is different, and when you build a car according to your driving style, it's perfect. So like Daniel Ricciardo brakes late, but not a lot of people brake late. A lot of people go hard on the throttle. A lot of people go slow on the throttle. They go like this. Some people go like this. So it's very different like that. So it's very important to build your car around you, and yeah, the engine plays a big role. How you tune the engine, and a lot of how every team does it differently.
Mm. And is there anything like you personally do to make the car better?
After practice, I try and see where I'm losing speed, where my car's understeering. If I'm turning right and still going towards the left, then I come and tell the mechanics that okay, this is happening. If I'm braking and if the rear moves, or if I'm braking and if the car's not stopping where I want it to, I tell them that okay, the brake pad is old or the brake wires are
Mm.
old. Please change that. So yeah, I mean, I don't do anything particular, but I come and give feedback so that they can help me make the car faster.
Mm. And
Yeah.
like how often like you are met with a scenario to play for the team or yourself, and what would you be inclined to do?
Oh, that doesn't happen here. That
Mm.
happens in Formula One. I think that doesn't happen a lot in Formula Four, where you have to make that decision. So till Formula Three also, I think only a year back they started having radio, but before that there was no radio. Radio was only allowed from Formula Two.
Mm.
So we don't have radios in ours.
Yeah.
They're just the boards, the
Yeah.
racing boards that they show like that. So
Mm.
only that. So the only way of communicating with the team is through those racing boards and through hand gestures.
Mm.
So like that, and then like this, and then so yeah, that's all. You can't. There's no way of. So then basically, once you're on track, it's just you and you driving for yourself. And
Mm.
if there's some team instruction, it comes through the board. That's all.
Maybe in future like they will start to integrate radios with the cars, maybe.
Yeah. It's a lot of tech. Yeah, it is a lot of technology that's being used. But then they also think that it's not fair at
Mm.
times, and because a lot of people are just getting into the racing scene, they
Mm.
want it to be a distraction.
Yeah.
So what if it's a distraction and then people crash? So yeah, a lot of accidents happen because a lot
Mm.
of people get into this for the first time, the gear shift cars for the first time. So a lot of accidents happen.
Yeah. And like what engine like do your cars have, like what are the capacity and the power specifications?
So the Swift engine, the Swift normal, the Maruti Suzuki Swift, it's that same engine that they build around. They tune it a bit, so it's basically a range from 90 to 100, no, 80 to 100 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot, but then the car is a lot lighter, and
Mm.
it's only 350 kgs the car.
Mm.
340, that's including me, it's 350, so it's around 280 kgs. So it is a lot lighter. The power to weight ratio is very low, so that's how I can go a lot faster.
Mm.
Yeah, and the torque is a lot higher. The torque is tuned because
Yeah.
you're revving a lot higher. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're revving a lot, and in races like acceleration plays a bigger role than having a good top speed.
yeah, true.
So you
Yeah,
need more
that's
torque
that,
than
that's true.
horsepower.
Yeah, you always, so the main rule in racing is slow in, fast out. So
Mm.
you go into a corner slow, but your acceleration at that corner has to be perfect. You go fast. That's how the most overtakes happen.
Mm. Now
Yeah.
like how did you end up with Team Momentum Motorsports?
So I went for a training for them, Formula 4 training. I
Mm.
was racing, my go-karting career was with Prudent Motorsports. And
Mm.
then I decided, okay, I want to jump to Formula 4 this year. And so they knew me before as well. They had seen my journey as well. And then I went for a training session with them. And then from there, it just started. I started racing. They saw that I have a lot of potential. The first time itself, I raced. I had never driven a gear changing race car before that. So it was my first time driving a gear changing race car. So manual transmission race car basically. And that was the first time I got into it and I did really well. I like for a first time I did really well. And then they
Mm.
saw me and then they approached me, that told me that yeah, you have a lot of potential, you can grow with our team. And then that's when I started. So this year I want to race. I'm going to race with them and hopefully win the championship with them.
Sure, sure. All the best, man. All the
Yeah.
best.
Thank you.
Now, what are the challenges that like you face as a racing driver that the viewer or normal people don't get to see?
The financial part,
Hmm.
firstly, it's very hard. It's a lot of uh, it's a lot of stress that a person has to take, and it's a lot of stress on my parents as well. How I'm going to pay for the next race. If you don't have sponsors, then it's really hard, the financial part, and then the physical part as well. You need to be really fit. You need
Hmm.
to have the concentration level that needs to go into it, and mentally as well, it's very challenging. So the financial part, sometimes you feel like, okay, so is this worth it? Is this actually worth it that I'm spending so much? What if it doesn't lead me anywhere? And what if it's a never what if it's a dead end thing that I'm looking at? Why am I spending so much? And then that plays into effect when I'm racing as well. Then I'm just giving my all because I know that I'm spending so much and I want to make a living out of it. So at times it's mainly these two. It's just the physical part and the mental stress because of the racing and because of the finance. So I feel like these are the hardest things. And yeah, the overwhelming part is you get a lot of attention when you're a
Hmm.
racer. So I feel like that. I mean, I sometimes I do like the attention, but sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the attention that you think that you're getting only because you're a racer. So I mean, I
Hmm.
am a racer, so I feel
Hmm.
I want that as well. But at times I feel like, okay, so I am that label racer actually comes into play.
Hmm.
So
You don't
so
want
yeah, I
unnecessary
mean,
attention.
yeah, I don't want unnecessary attention, to be honest. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And all these
But
challenges, this fame are all a part of it. Being a driver, being a racer driver.
yeah, I haven't shot to fame like other
Hmm.
drivers have,
Yeah.
because yeah, in India is now very famous, or we're now very popular, the sport.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it can be I feel like the fame, some people, it might be a lot, they might like it, some people might not, so it's up to
Hmm.
them how they handle it.
Yeah. Now, do you have like a dream manufacturer that you want to race for eventually in your racing career?
uh, I mean, Ferrari is everyone's dream, but then I know that, like I said, Formula One is a distant dream. So even if I don't get into Formula One, I would still want to race for a Ferrari sponsored team, or a Ferrari uh, sponsored race, or a Ferrari
Hmm.
car. So I would like to race for a Ferrari car one day.
Yeah.
That's the
Ferrari.
dream.
I mean,
Yeah,
they have been in the sport since 1950, and they have been the
yeah,
most dominant team until recently. Mercedes came up.
yeah, yeah, and they've been, they're like, I would say they have history in
Hmm.
the sport. And it's when people say Formula One, generally people, the first, nowadays it might not
Hmm.
be true, but the first team that they connect with is Ferrari. So
Hmm.
Ferrari
I
is
mean, they
yeah,
have dominated Le Mans, they have dominated F1, and like they have
yeah,
even dominated 24 hours of Daytona as well. But
yeah,
many
exactly.
people don't
So
know about it, but Ferrari has been one of the most dominant manufacturers, not in just terms of the performance cars they make for the road, but in terms of racing
but
cars as
also
well.
racing. Yeah, true. That's true. Ferrari is Ferrari.
Mm.
Everyone's dream is, everyone's dream is to drive that red car, even if they don't say it.
Mm.
Everyone's dream is. I think
Mm.
Hamilton's dream also at one point would have been to drive for Ferrari. But
Mm.
yeah,
Exactly. It's just that, like in the past few years, and I think in 2019, 2020, and even recently as well, like people have started criticizing their cars that they are not the best
yeah,
cars in the race.
yeah, true.
But I
But I
think,
feel like that
yeah.
that again is it's not the fault of the, it's, I feel like everyone goes through those ups and downs.
Mm.
Every team has those ups and downs. No team has been dominant for the longest time.
Mm.
So I think they'll come back. I mean, they are one of the richest teams, so 100% they're going to come back sooner or later. It's just the matter of time.
Yeah. It just might be a phase where, like they are not performing at their peak. Huh.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I think there was a meme. I think like there was an actual picture of like Lewis Hamilton, like staring at the Ferrari car. So like,
Oh, okay.
and the caption was, everyone is a Ferrari fan. Like in the heart.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone is, to be honest, like how I think Vettel said that everyone wants to drive for that red car.
Mm.
So yeah, everyone does. In the race, if you're a racer, you obviously dream to drive that red car at least once.
Mm. They have had like some of the most best drivers we have ever seen. in
Yeah,
F1. Niki Lauda,
yeah,
they had Michael Schumacher, Sebastian Vettel.
yeah,
These three are
yeah,
like top my my
yeah.
top three
True.
favorite drivers, and they all have driven for
Okay.
Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, Ferrari is that, but recently I've been a little upset about how they've treated their drivers as well. Like,
Hmm.
I don't like the way they treated Vettel.
Hmm.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, it's been a little sad. I've had like, I haven't supported them as I used
Hmm.
to before,
Yeah,
but I would still like to drive for them one day.
for sure, for sure. I think you will for sure.
Thank
And
you.
now, like, what are your current plans? For example, like, where do you want to see yourself in 10 years from now?
Thank you. That's such an interview question, but okay. So, this year I'm racing, and then hopefully I win the championship. Touchwood.
Hmm.
Hopefully I win the championship, and then maybe if I do well, I can either go for the championship in Asia, or
Hmm.
if I get enough sponsors, then maybe I can race in the Formula 4 Europe. So if that happens, then maybe I can step up. My ultimate dream, if I can, in the next 10 years when I'm 32, I would like to be in F1 racing for a team over there. But then if not that, then maybe I can do IndyCar or
Hmm.
maybe at least Le Mans. So maybe I can be a Le Mans driver or Formula E, something of that
Hmm.
sort. Still in the racing scene. Hopefully, I'm still in the racing scene when I am 32.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just keep
yeah,
working towards it. I mean, you sure will.
yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
And like, I wanted to ask this, like, what is the difference between an F1 car and an Indy car? I mean, they, like, they all look very same, but I think that, like, Indy cars have this sort of this windshield in front of them.
Hmm. It's just the aerodynamics of the car. They're completely different. That's why F1 cars are faster when going around the circuit. It's just the aerodynamics of the car, how the car takes in winds and lets it out. It's
Hmm.
just about all of that. It's just how you're building your car around that.
Hmm. But they're pretty much stay same in the structure, right?
Yes, structure they're almost pretty much the same. I think even Formula 2, Formula 3 are very similar to in structure that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, like, what are the things that we could do on an individual level, or the government could do at the national level to, like, promote the motorsports scene in India? Like, as we can see that, like, despite having a population of almost 1.5 billion, we don't have a significant racing presence in F1 or in MotoGP.
Yeah, true. So, firstly, I would like to tell like last year they approved motorsports as a sport in India, which was a win. It should have
Mm,
happened long back, but
mm.
it was a
Better late
win.
than never.
So yeah, well late than never. So that was a step, and I feel like they should promote not just F1, but they should promote racing that's happening in India, like the races that I take part in. It's very interesting. People do come and watch around 1,600 to 1,000 people come and watch, not more than that. So I feel
Mm,
like people should come and watch, or they should live telebroadcast it on a
mm,
channel like Star Sports. And at an individual level, you should actually promote and start watching these careers of people who start when they start watching go-karts. If you're actually a racing enthusiast, start following people's career and start promoting people to actually play all these races live on
mm.
different broadcasting networks. So yeah, especially networks like Star Sports and Ten Sports. So yeah, that should help.
Yeah, I think that would help. And of course, like, student formula teams in
Yeah, student
colleges.
formula team. Yeah,
Like, I
yeah. I
am a
think
part of one
I've never
currently.
really. Oh, okay. I've never been a part of that, so I don't know a lot about that. But I heard that they do a lot of development for them. Can I just take this call? One
Yeah,
minute.
sure,
One
sure,
minute. I'm
sure,
so sorry.
sure, sure. No worries.
Hello. I'm so sorry. It was
No
my
worries.
my dad, so I just had
No
to take
worries.
that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So I was saying, like the Formula student teams in colleges can, like also raise the
Yeah.
motorsports scene in India. They can also influence
Yeah,
it.
that is true. Yeah, they can also build cars. To be honest, they can build cars that can actually compete in the championship. It's an open category, so they
Hmm.
can also build their cars and come and compete.
Hmm.
And I don't think that should be a problem.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I feel like that is a way to move forward. I feel like everything is a step in the right direction. As
Hmm.
you get into the sport, more you just keep watching journeys, people's career, actually make videos or promote. There should be a body or an institution. FMSCI is there.
Hmm.
Yeah, this FMSCI,
Hmm.
Federation of Motorsports Club India.
Hmm.
So that is there. So I feel like they can actually do a lot. Because right now, at least with Drive to Survive, people have got into the sport. People actually want to watch. So
Hmm.
they can somehow maybe shoot a lot more videos, make a YouTube channel. People, a lot of content is being
Hmm.
uploaded. A lot of content people watch
Hmm.
nowadays on YouTube.
Hmm.
So they can promote the racing scene in India that nothing like it. A lot of
Hmm.
people can get into it and just make it an entertain. It is a sport, but make it an entertainment thing, just like just like other sports, then people will
Exactly.
get into it. And it can be a lot entertaining as well. There are a lot of races happening.
Hmm. Like even like I am a part of a student formula team, Team Kalam
Oh,
Motorsports.
okay, that's it.
Yeah. So
Oh,
like
that's great.
yeah, we like build cars for SAE Super and Formula Bharat.
Oh, okay. Maybe I
Yeah.
can drive your car sometime. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. And
Yeah.
so like if this pandemic hadn't hit, like we probably
Yeah.
like we had an event on BIC. But since the pandemic hit,
Oh, okay.
like all the events went online. And it was my
Oh
first year
shit.
of team. I had like plans of going on to BIC and experiencing the track for the first time, but here
Oh,
I
okay.
was. The pandemic hit,
Yeah, I
and
know.
it had some other plans.
This pandemic has ruined a lot of plans for a lot of people. So
Mm.
yeah.
Also, like I think that things like Formula One and like Formula One, Formula Four should be supported. Like I think it should be marketed more. Like there should be Instagram handles as well. For example,
Yeah, exactly.
if I talk about Formula Four in specific, like when I talked to you, the first thing I did was, like I actually like started searching for an official Formula 4 handle. So I got Formula One. There is Formula One. There is Formula Two. There is Formula
Yeah.
Three.
Two,
But there is
three.
no Formula Four official handle. So I was like, like this is a thing,
Yeah, that's
like that
true.
can be done. It's just a
Yeah, that's
small
true.
thing,
I
but
mean, it is there. It's called JK Tire Motorsport, but then it's not like continuous updates because these championship also they can have a continuous racing thing as well because they're not very continuous. All of these, sorry,
yeah.
they're not very continuous. All of these series. So I feel like if they're continuous, then they can actually work on it and make it better, and they can actually uh it'll keep the people a lot more engaged. And yeah, it's just that
Yeah.
if you keep your audience engaged and if you give them content, then yeah, they will keep following it.
Hmm. For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, Gaurav, do you have any parting words for the audience?
No parting words. Again, I would like to say it would be splendid and lovely to actually have people come and watch the races and then be a part of the sport. Do follow me on Instagram, and you can follow my journey as well through going ups and downs of racing. I upload almost everything. I upload my wins, I upload my shortcomings, I upload my losses as well. So do follow me, and if you want to be a part of the sport as well, you can always DM me. It's not just as a driver, but also as a mechanic or social media. If you want to be part of anything, you can work or DM me or email me. And also, you can if you have any ideas of how to promote motorsports in India, if you think that this may work to actually put motorsports in the map of India and get a lot more people to engage in it, you can send those ideas to me as well, and then maybe we can work together on that because I have a lot of contacts in the in the motorsports industry. So maybe we can work and get more people to engross in the sport and yeah, work better and put the sport out there in the map in India and actually get noticed.
For sure, for sure. I think like
And
we
I would
can
like to
help.
thank Rishabh. Sorry. Yeah, I would like to thank Rishabh as well for this great opportunity for me to speak. I've
Hmm.
never really spoken like this on a podcast. I've had interviews, but not on a podcast like this for an hour long.
Mm,
So it was a lot of fun. It was really nice, and I
mm,
had a lot of fun as well
mm.
talking about
I
everything.
think I will have to like thank Spotify Green Room for this, because like when I
Yeah.
created my account, like it automatically follows some of the people from your account. So like I was just
Oh, okay.
scrolling through the following list, and I was like, and I saw your name, and I was like F4 racing driver, and I'm like, dude, I need to talk to you. I went
Oh,
on,
okay. That's great. I'm so happy.
searched on Instagram.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to like strike a conversation. I just
Oh,
like
that's
sent the
great. I'm
message, and
so happy that you
I
did.
was like, I just want him to reply. I just want him to reply. It would be a great thing to
Yeah.
like having on the podcast. And yeah, here
Yeah.
we are.
That's great. That's great. I'm really glad that this worked out. I'm so
Mm.
happy. Yeah.
And I think
Thank
like
you,
we
Rishabh,
might
again.
even do a
Yeah.
future episode as well.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
win more races, you go to Formula
Yeah,
3.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, you'll have a lot more audience as well. Maybe by that time you'll have millions of listeners. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you, Rishabh. It was
Yeah,
really fun.
yeah. Thank you for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm.